Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Roger from E3. I believe every one of you have enjoyed a great lunch. I think later on, as the opening presentation prior to the panel, what I'm trying to do is to give an overview of the recent open market status and providing some background information for the panel. How the market, what are the latest developments from operators, what can we learn from operators in their recent strategic move, and what are the outlooks of Open RAN from operator standpoint. In the next 15 minutes, I hope my presentation may be able to answer some of the questions I just raised. So let's take a look at the Open RAN market. If we count the Open RAN share as the worldwide RAN market, the Open RAN market was challenging in 2023. The share of Open RAN in overall RAN market was about 5 to 10% in 2023. Although we saw some big announcement in the late December and late 2023, we expect the deployment will start as early as second half of 2024. So we expect the deployment. So in 2024, we expect the Open RAN market will be flat compared with 2023, about 7 to 10%. But as we check with some analysts and the supply chain, the consensus of Open RAN market in 2028 will stay the same forecast at between 20 to 30%. As for the regional distribution, I think America and North America and the Asia Pacific were still leading the market in 2023, which combined market share is around 80%. And even for the next 5 years, America, Asia Pacific, and Europe occupy most of the revenue of Open RAN market. But we can see some operators' momentum for Open RAN was slightly increased in 2023. We could see 100 operators from 51 countries had active Open RAN trials, deployments, or commitments by the end of fourth quarter 2023. So now let's take a look at some recent deployments from operators. Talking about the recent deployments for operators, AT&T is definitely the most promising cases last year. Another deployment case I would like to mention is Vodafone cases in Europe. But I would like to go through more details about AT&T and Vodafone in the following slides. But before we move on to the next slides, I would like to mention the deployment of Telos in Canada. Compared with other big operators in the world, Telos' scale is relatively small, right? When we are talking about Open RAN, sometimes we would like to say scale matters. The R&D resources and the deployment scale will be the key success factor of Open RAN build-outs. But if Telos' case can prove successful, I think it will provide a very good reference and inspire operators with similar size. So now let's take a look at Vodafone's case. Vodafone is one of the most prominent supporters of Open RAN. He's very active in many events and organizations regarding Open RAN as well. For the last several years, the progress of Vodafone's Open RAN construction was not as fast as expected. But from NWC 2024, I visited Vodafone's booth in person. I'm more confident about the determination of Vodafone on Open RAN. Furthermore, Vodafone's executives highlight again the goal of 30% of all its European sites with Open RAN by 2030 stay unchanged. So for UK, I think is still the most prioritized market for Vodafone. The UK plans announced roughly 2 years ago, but we could see Vodafone made a rather obvious move last year and will progress faster than before. Another site in Europe for Vodafone is Romania. Vodafone has announced commercial rollouts of Open RAN in 20 cities across Romania in February 2024. Oh, sorry. And we can see some, sorry. And Vodafone has completed trials in Italy and Germany. Although Vodafone sold its Italy business to Swisscom, this trial still provides some valuable insights regarding energy efficiency, network capacity, and improved performance for customers. But in addition to these ongoing Open RAN rollouts and trials, I would like to mention that Vodafone leveraged their UK lab and the Spain Innovation Hub to build up the Open RAN ecosystem. They not only do the device interoperability test and validation, also we can see Vodafone is driving the Open RAN related silicon solutions other than x86 based, but also ARM-based solutions. So as for AT&T, the announcement with Ericsson last December was very inspired for the overall Open RAN industry. According to the news release, AT&T said by the 2026, they'll have about 70% of traffic across infrastructure that will have interfaces on it and could be opened up for other suppliers. So in this $14 billion deal, many people are concerned about single vendors and the multi-vendor debate. But as the CEO of AT&T talked in an investor conference, he said AT&T expects to have fully integrated Open RAN sites up and running in 2024 and working with both Ericsson and Fujitsu. And furthermore, as it scales, the carrier said it will be working with multiple suppliers such as Corning, Dell, Ericsson, Fujitsu, and Intel. He even mentioned that Nokia would be one of those suppliers that are more diverse vendor base that we ultimately stay working towards. So from my point of view, AT&T's numbers definitely provide very positive sign to the Open RAN industry. And we can expect that will provide a great momentum for the whole industry. Actually, if we go back to the basics of Open RAN, Open RAN's openness and the flexibility are very positive to the telecom industry. And from the survey we just showed, we can see many telcos believe Open RAN is helping to expand the RAN vendor ecosystem. Also, this survey tells us about 65% of respondents thought the deployment of Open RAN technology provide network operators with great operational and strategic flexibility. But another good sign is the progress of technology advancement. From another survey, we can see the concerns move from performance and TCO to security and integration. And most operators expect all major challenges to be overcome within 4 years. So that means Open RAN actually is entering the next stage. We may have some performance and the cost issue need to be addressed right now. But from industry, telcos are more confident with the performance and the cost on Open RAN. In the other way, security and integration rank top 2 challenges in Open RAN adoption. So this survey result might give us some thoughts about the next step we should take for the Open RAN development. So if we take a look at the Open RAN vendors landscape, I would like to divide them into 3 groups. We have all RAN vendors with full stack capabilities. Some of them can provide parts of the RAN stack, or they can provide an entire RAN system if needed, including design, integration, and services. The second group is incumbent RAN vendors. These vendors actually have more strengths in open RAN markets. They are not just have deep relationship with telcos. They also have deep R&D on O-RAN or Cloud RAN. Although Open RAN would create some tension and uncertainty for these incumbent vendors, they will still need to adapt to the long-term trends. The final group is the independent supply vendors. They might be just specialized in one or two parts of the whole Open RAN systems, like RU, CUDU, or software like Rake, XApps, Cloud, and hardware like servers, acceleration cards, silicon, and even test labs and the test tools. So from operator's point of view, facing so many vendors with different strengths and expertise, it's hard to make choice. So for a giant telco like Vodafone, he compares traditional from Open RAN models in three aspects. In the product integration phases, it is from single vendor to distributed multi-vendor integration. He needs system integrators' efforts to integrate the radio, servers, software, and management platform together. And then he needs to have end-to-end lab to certify solutions from SI. If the product in the product development phase before is a single vendor proprietary circuit-based installation, for Open RAN, the provision model will need to be zero touch and with continuous integration and delivery capabilities. So as for the operation phase, Vodafone said he becomes part of the product support and life cycles. And the other case is about AT&T and Verizon. Since the integration complexity in Open RAN, how can telcos drive Open RAN vision forward? So I think many initiatives and alliances are ongoing. And we can see great momentum since the second half of 2023. One of the most exciting announcements I would like to mention is the project called Accord. I think many of you are quite familiar with this project. The full name for the project is Acceleration of Compatibility and Commercialization for Open RAN Deployments. And this project is supported by NTIA US government. The consortium is comprised of US top two operators, AT&T and Verizon, and two international operators, NTT Docomo and Reliance Jio. The pain points of operators' Open RAN adoption is mainly in integration. So the project focus first is testing on network performance, interoperability, and security. And the second one is facilitating research into new test methods. Besides, we can see the suppliers who will join this project over from incumbent RAN vendors, full stack Open RAN vendors, independent vendors to cloud solution providers. So by providing equipment, software, and verification support, these suppliers can form an ecosystem and open up collaboration possibility in the future. Now let's look at a different Open RAN development model of operators. First case is NTT Docomo. Before the announcement in February 2024, Docomo has already advocated their OREX initiatives. For Docomo, he would like to leverage the experience in Japan and invite vendors in a supply chain to build up pre-packaged Open RAN solutions. But in the February release, Docomo went one step further in Open RAN SI business. Docomo and NEC announced to establish a joint venture called OREX SAI to advance OREX package provision for global Open RAN deployments. So the prepackaged solutions will assemble from OREX partners, including RAN, SMO, and services. Docomo will do the verification job, and the NEC will utilize their pervasive global footprints to make expansion. The other case is Rakuten. Rakuten also wanted to be a solution provider since its exemption of mobile business in Japan. As a greenfield operators, Rakuten's Mobile selected Open RAN at day one. Although Rakuten Mobile's business in Japan is still under development, they launched SI business Rakuten Symphony very early. By acquisition and the collaboration with existing partners, Rakuten Symphony develops its own integration capability in end-to-end automation and the orchestration. So now, and we can see some global operator engagements of Rakuten Symphony. So operators like Stage X in South Korea and 1&1 in Germany, they are greenfield operators. So they are the first wave to adopt Rakuten's solution. So now I would like to summarize some different approaches operators will take in Open RAN. For some operators like BT, I think they are more conservative with Open RAN. They are searching for competitive Open RAN solutions right now. And for Telefonica and Orange, I think they might keep on trials with Open RAN. The scale will not be very big in the short term. One of the points they are mentioned, the concern point, is the impact of operations. For those operators aggressive to Open RAN, the greenfield operators like Rakuten Mobile and Dish Wireless, they were leading in the deployment of Open RAN and facing challenges other than Open RAN. And for the brownfield operators like Docomo, AT&T, and Verizon, we can expect to see mass market rollouts in the next 5 years. They are eager to build up Open RAN ecosystem to realize the vision as well. For some operators, they are not just doing their own network, but trying to be solution providers. The typical ones are Docomo and the Rakuten Symphony I just mentioned earlier. So now, this is today's takeaway. First, I think Tier 1 telcos will still be the driving force of the second wave of the Open RAN growth. And the second, integration is the key to bring Open RAN vision to life. So we can see some opinions from the survey results. And the third one is as for the single vendor or versus the multi-vendor issue. I think most operators are likely to choose single vendor Open RAN in their initial rollouts. But it indicates the operators' concern about the testing and the integration requirements imposed by the multi-vendor approach. So how to relieving these concerns remain a top industry priority. And finally, we still anticipate that most operators will gradually incorporate more openness, virtualization, intelligence, and automation into the RAN roadmaps over time. So this is conclude my presentation. Thank you, everyone.